Okay, so we'll continue today the transaction management chapters. Yesterday we started with the some very important concepts and locks. We studied about the 2PL protocol, two-phase locking protocol. Today we'll study recovery algorithm. It is Aries recovery algorithm. Okay, Aries recovery algorithm. So Aries algorithm stands on certain concepts. The very first concept yesterday we discussed, or the background of Aries algorithm, was steal, no force, steal, no force, no steal, force. These two concepts are the background for Aries algorithm. Okay, so please remember whenever I'm talking about these two concepts, steal means data becomes dirty. Dirty means multiple people having multiple types of data. Then we say data is dirty. Okay, so multiple people having multiple data, then becomes data becomes dirty. So when I say dirty, data has become dirty in the sense data has been stolen or data has been steal. All right, so please understand, two people having different data simultaneously. That's actually a wrong thing, or then actually that becomes the dirty data. Okay, so imagine one person has reading the data, the other person has writing the data, say of same object. Now reading has to stop before writing occurs, or after writing only reading should occur. Okay, or at one point of time only one process to be allowed. If these two are occurring simultaneously, then definitely data becomes dirty. So when data has become dirty, we cannot make that data to be forced to disk. Force means committing the data to disk. Okay, please understand these two words. Steal means data becoming dirty. Force means committing the data to final save. Okay. Uh, Force means forcing the data to save permanently, that is committing. Now Aries algorithm works with these concepts: steal, no force; no steal, force. Data has stolen, so do not force the data to commit. Data has not stolen, then you can easily go with the forcing the data to commit. So based on these two concepts, your Aries algorithm works. Okay, so please understand, steal, no force; no steal, force. When data has stolen, data becomes dirty. Do not force that data to commit. Similarly, when data has not stolen, or when data has not become dirty, then force that data to commit. So these two are the very important concepts on which your Aries algorithm stands. Now, you need to know about log also. In log, you have log sequence number, LSN we call it as. So based on log sequence number, the identification of which particular transaction was executing will happen. Before we talk on Aries algorithm, I will give you little more background. So normally what happens is we are talking on recovery algorithms. We call recovery techniques, or we may even say crash recovery techniques. Crash recovery technique means a crash occurred while executing the transaction. Remember, once the data is committed, once the data is permanently saved to the disk, we don't need to bother about the data storage. Data is always made safe even if any failure occurs. If there are any particular failures, so data is made safe. Now, I want to ask you a very intelligent question. How many of you have fuses at their homes? I want your response, guys. Do you have fuses at your homes or you don't have fuses at your homes?
We have
Why it is required, Kiran? Others also can answer this.
so if any external high voltage current comes, the fuse trips and then it is preventing the system from burning.
Very good. If that fuse is not there, there are chances that your home appliances may burn into ashes. Your home appliances may catch fire. Correct. The intention of having those fuses in order to safeguard your appliances. Correct. If there is any high voltage comes, the small fuses will cut down not to supply the power to the appliances of your home. In order to make safety with your appliances at your home, fuses are set. Now, fuse will act as a particular delimiter to safeguard our appliances. Now, same way, when any crash occurs, when there are any failures, as same example of how we observe in our fuses, data is made free from all those failures. Okay. Anyhow, I don't want to go in detail with the techniques of how we store, what are the different terminologies there. So storage area network is again a huge domain where we try to study how to protect the data, what are the different techniques like that. Now, please remember, even if the data is crashed, we can recover the data without any problem. Okay, so that is how the techniques are there. Now, when you observe storage, in storage, earlier, long back, or some when you observe the technologies way back from 1 or 2 decades, we used to store data 3 times or 3 copies. We store the data so that if one is lost, we can recover data, or two is lost, we still have the data. But the cost was abundant because storage, what storage we need, 3 times the disk we were requiring. That would was costing enormous. So we have some special techniques these days. Even if the data is lost, we can still easily recover the data. That's how the techniques are there. Okay, so any crash occurs, any failure. Crash means maybe a power failure is a crash, fire may catching is a crash, or any earthquake is a crash, or I mean whatever failures we occur or whatever failures when arrive, we have to make our data to be safe. Okay, our intention is to make data to safeguard from the failures. Okay, so you understand what is the meaning of crash. So when any failure occurs, our intention is to protect the data or safeguard the data. So we are studying on recovery algorithms. Recovery algorithms intention is to recover those transactions which were running during the time of crash. Okay, so when there is a crash occurring, at the time of crash, we cannot predict that when a crash occurs. All of the mean the crash may occur in any moment. So when we are executing any transactions, we have to make sure that our transactions are executed safe and our data is always safe. If any failure arrives, we should protect those transactions so that our data will not lead to inconsistencies. So also, if there are any failures, we need to have a special means how to protect our data. So one such algorithm is called as Aries algorithm. Now we have data which is committed and uncommitted data. So one committed data means data will be permanently stored or saved data. But we even may say that there might be transactions which are uncommitted. Uncommitted means there might be transactions while executing. At the time of execution only, the failure may arise. We cannot predict that when a power switch is off. Okay, we even cannot predict that when will power will go or when the power will come. So it may happen that when you're swiping your card, at that instant a network may be cut, or power may cut, maybe anything problem may arrive. So we should be sure that when any failure occurs, our transactions are to be recovered. So and now Aries algorithm stands on uncommitted transactions. So it applies to the uncommitted transactions which were executing at the time of crash. Okay, at the time of crash, which are all the transactions executing, and what is the status of that? Based on the uncommitted transactions, your Aries algorithm will try to recover those transactions. Okay, so please understand, once the data is committed, that means the data is permanently saved. If there are any problems with respect to transactions after committed, Aries will not be interfering that. Mean Aries stands on, or Aries recovery algorithm works on only those transactions which are executing or which were not committed during the time of crash. Hope you guys are understanding. So there are other techniques which may work on committed data, but normally once the data is committed, we feel that data is permanently stored. There are no chances of losing the data. Okay, that's how the technology works. Once the data is committed, data is permanently saved. But most of the problems occur, or most of the recovery algorithms have to be concentrated only on uncommitted data, because that is where the inconsistency of the database will lead. So our intention is to concentrate on the inconsistencies of the databases. So all that inconsistencies of the data are definitely uncommitted data. So transactions which are executing, crash may occur. So all such transactions have to be identified first. What happened with the status, what has to be done, and then subsequently the necessary means have to be taken in order to resolve them. Now please understand, we are concentrating on the transactions which are uncommitted or running during the transactions at the time of crash. Okay, so let me remind you again, Aries algorithm works on these concepts like steal no force, no steal force, and it is one of the recovery algorithm, especially crash recovery algorithm, for uncommitted transactions or transactions which are executing during the time of crash. Okay, so any questions before we proceed, guys? Anybody have any questions? Hope you guys are understanding. Yes, any questions? Anybody have any questions? No, shall I proceed? I want your confirmation also. Yes, no? You able to understand? I need your responses also.
Yes, sir, no doubts.
Others? There are so many
Yes, sir.
people in the class. Okay.
No doubts.
Okay, see. Very simple thing. Please understand what I'm trying to tell you. We will concentrate on uncommitted data to recover the data which was led to some crash. See, a crash might occur with respect to anything. Your transaction only might have created the crash, or power failure might have been occurred, or there might be a network glitch. or your network system restarted, or your power has been gone. There might be n number of reasons for crash, but our intention is to recover such transactions during any situations. All right. So you also should know log sequence number. You have one special thing about logs. We will study just later. We use wall protocol to use data or to write data in the log files. We call as write ahead logging protocol. This we will study just later after this or something. So this protocol is used to write the data in the log file. So log file is very important. So whatever happens, we have to go through the log file in order to recover or in order to take care of the transactions. So log plays very important role in order to recover the data from the crash. All right. So first, understand log is a particular. It shows the sequence of instructions which are executing. With the help of log sequence number, we call it as LSN. It holds the schedule of all the transactions. Schedule means it holds all the list of transactions which were executing along with the statuses. All right. So let me come here. Now Aries algorithm has mainly designed to work with steel no force. Okay. So as I have already told you, the Aries algorithm works with steel no force concept. Steel no force means, please remember all the background what I said. We are working on what particular types of data? Uncommitted data. Uncommitted data or data which is changed, or data which is updated but not committed during the time of a crash. Please understand. So that means data is updated or data has become dirty. Dirty data means steal. When stealing occurs, no force. No force means do not commit the data. So mainly Aries algorithm relies on concept called as steal no force data. So no steal force we will never talk because already that data will be committed. Okay, so we will concentrate on only that concept or only those transactions which made the data to become dirty. See, database becomes dirty means data is in inconsistent state. Inconsistent state means transaction is done half or transaction did not execute completely. Maybe deadlock might have been erased, or starvation might have been erased, or data is updated from one to other but not committed. So all that we will fall in one concept called as steal, no force. Data has stolen, so no force, or uncommitted data means data has not forced to commit. Okay, so these concepts are relied or based on Aries algorithm. Any questions, guys, before we proceed? Now, please understand Aries algorithm has three phases. I think I have given sufficient background for Aries algorithm. We have three phases in Aries algorithm. Three phases. Three phases means three steps or something like that. Okay. Analysis, undo, redo. Undo and redo. These are the three phases in Aries algorithm. Okay, so please understand analysis, undo, and redo are the three phases of Aries algorithm. Now, please understand what does analysis do, what does undo do, what does redo do. Please, okay, these are the three phases. Now, we have to understand with respect to one simple example like this. Now, imagine this is the simple example, or imagine this is the example. Now, what's happening in this example? Try to understand. Hope you guys can see this. Okay. Now, Please understand what's happening here. Now here I observe that log sequence number. This is the log sequence number maintained in the form of numbers, and this is the log file. Now here what happens, this is the command or this is the transaction running. Now update T1 writes P5. So transaction T1 writing process 5. Now update T2 writes P3. So these 5 P3 P5 all are different processes, and T1 T2 are the different transactions. Now normally we can understand that there will be multiple transactions executing simultaneously. Okay, so it is we are interleaving the transactions in such a way that to boost up the performance. So multiple transactions will be running simultaneously in the form of different processes with different objects. This is as good as telling like multiple ATMs are executing simultaneously. Okay, so all transactions are running in the form of all ATMs are running in the form of transactions. Now the different processes are there. So update T1 writes P5, update T2 writes P3, T2 commit, T2 end. Okay, so here what happened, T2 has completed its execution and committed, and T2 has an end. Now in the next step what happens, T3 update T3 writes P1. Now update T3 writes P3. Now what happened, a crash occurred. So now what happens, during the time of crash we need to observe which all were transactions were active or which all the transactions were in still executing. Okay, we observe that T2 has completed the execution and terminated, because T2 says commit and T2 has end. Now what about T1 and T3? T1 and T3 transactions are still executing. That means we have to recover these two transactions like T1 and T3, since at the during time of crash, here the crash occurred. So once this crash occurred, we observe that T1 and T3 were still under execution but did not commit. Here process P5, P3 and P1. P5, P1, P3 with respect to T1 and T3 transactions were made data dirty. Okay, since they were not committed, since those two transactions T1 and T3 were uncommitted transactions, we need to play or we need to observe with respect to Aries algorithm. Now applying these three phases to this particular problem is, in the first phase what happens, we will try to do analysis based on the log sequence number based on this. Now with this, the first step is analysis. In analysis we observe that T2 has committed and ended, so T2 will not have any problem, but the transactions T1 and T3 were still executing during the time of crash. So in analysis phase, we will try to identify those transactions which were active during the time of crash. Okay, so it will even say in analysis T1 and T3 with the processes P5, P1 and P3 was still executing during the time of crash. Then after the crash, what happened? These transactions made data dirty. So in analysis phase is just to identify which were the transactions executing during the time of crash. Then in undo phase, whatever the transactions created a problem or whatever transactions made data to be dirty, first we have to undo them and redo them from the beginning. This is the Aries algorithm process. Still, we also have three main principles of Aries algorithm. I will discuss that. You please understand. Okay, so the same thing says with the concept. Whichever transactions were not executing, identify them is the analysis phase. So after analysis, you will come to know what these are the phases, or T1 and T3 were still executing during the time of crash. T2 has end, so T2, forget about T2. So in analysis phase, you will come to know that T1 and T3 were still executing. So from undo, you will start undoing which were things are done. Like here, P3 writes T1 writes P5, uh, T3 writes P1 and T3 writes P3. We will first undo them because that is where the transaction crash had happened. First, we will undo because we have to make the data to be consistent after the crash. So we're still not sure that data might have led to consistency. So our intention is to bring the data back to the consistent state by doing undo for the transactions which are already done before the crash. So we do what for T1 and T3, for T1 and T3, for P5, P1, P3, we will try to undo those operations which were done before the crash. So after crash, we will try to undo them first, then redo it accordingly. So our intention is to bring the data back to the consistent state, then follow the procedure again or redo them again. You may ask a doubt that what if we get a crash again and again? Okay, so see, we are not sure that crash with what? I mean, system crashed with what? Whether only these transactions are creating crash or there might be any failure. We are not sure. Okay, so this is how your Aries algorithm works. We do have three main principles that lie behind Aries algorithm. Even you can please have a note that. So three main principles. So you may get a question on Aries algorithm asking or stating like this. Aries algorithm may work on the principles. So what are the three main principles of Aries algorithm? And explain all the phases of the Aries algorithm with an example. If this is the question, you need to write those three principles, those three phases along with one example. According to me, minimum 8 marks is the question. Almost every time this Aries algorithm will come. So you may be asked to write the three principles, then three phases along with one example and explain the thing. Okay, so first we'll hope you guys have understood the those three phases. Okay, analysis, undo and redo. Please observe that analysis phase, we will come to know what are the problems associated or identify the which all the transactions were executing during the time of crash, then undo those transactions which made the data to become dirty, then redo the transactions from the consistent stages, so that every time we lead to a consistent state. So three main principles. Guys, any questions before we proceed? Anybody have any questions or anything to ask before we proceed? No, hope no questions are there. Yes. Joseph is there. Joseph, Rakesh, Samia, Shivani, Spurti, Yashoda. I just want to ask you people whether you guys are there or no. Randomly, I have to see that you guys are there or just Captain went. I just want to know that also. Now, are you understanding that, guys? Any more questions? Okay, so let me move forward with giving you three main principles that lie behind Aries recovery algorithm. Three main principles. So based on these three principles, Aries algorithm relies. The first one is wall protocol. Wall protocol is even called as write ahead logging. The acronym of wall is write ahead logging protocol. So any changes, the very first thing updates in the database as will be written with respect to your wall protocol. Okay, we will study what are the actions to be carried out using wall protocol. We will understand just later. Now, the second principle is repeating history during redo, logging changes during undo. So, repeating history means we have to repeat all those steps which were executed during the time of crash or before the system crashed. All the operations which were doing, we have to redo them because those transactions made the data to be dirty, and we need to carry out all those transactions in one particular form. So we have to execute them again and again. Since the transactions were done half, we have to do those complete those transactions. So we start them from the beginning, like. Okay, so then the next principle is logging changes during undo. So changes made to the database while undoing a transactions are logged in order to ensure that any changes mean uh, the third one principle says we will try to observe those transactions which created the crash, or if suppose if the transactions only made some problem to create a crash, then we will try to make the necessary changes in the transactions so that crash will not happen again. So understanding the three main principles, each of the three principles rely or the Aries algorithm rely on those three principles, and accordingly the procedure will be followed with respect to these three phases. Okay, so the three main principles. The first one is wall protocol or write ahead logging, repeating history during redo, and logging changes during undo. So if any changes were happened with respect to the creating of crash, then such changes will be made accordingly. Then uh, then the transactions will be executed again so that we will not have the crash next time. Okay, so any questions on recovery algorithm Aries? Anybody have any questions? No? Yes? So let us move forward on learning the log. The log is one particular thing, so please understand. Hope no questions are there. We will try to understand what is log. So log is log is one particular form of file. Log is also a file which stores all the information of transactions. Okay. Uh, To tell you in detail about log, everywhere you have logs, log files we call them as. Server has a log file, your DBA has a log file, or DBA server has a log file. Or log is like the list of information stored for all the transactions. Okay, so when you observe at the server side, the log file cannot be shared or cannot be accessed by all the users. It has to be done only with the admin credentials. All right, so the log will have series of actions, a list of actions with respect to all the transactions. Okay, so in that we observe the entry is made using log sequence number. We call it as LSN. So log sequence number, with the log sequence number, the records are placed. Okay, one thing, if you have observed the ATM withdrawal slip, you will find one transaction ID. That transaction ID will give you the information of your transaction at that timestamp for a particular ATM at that particular time. So that based on that transaction, an LSN will be associated, and in that LSN you have all the records, like which particular account number was been accessed, from which ATM, what was the timestamp, and what happened with the status of that particular card, of that particular transaction. All that will be noted. So based on that record only the decision will be made. Okay, so decision will be made in the sense what happened with that transaction will be necessary action have to be taken place. So log will be the trial or journal is a history of actions executed by DBMS. Understood? So it will be stored it is like a permanent storage device. Even if any failures occurs, log will be stored in terms of multiple copies, stored at different places, so that there will not be any problem of accessing, or log file cannot be lost, right? It cannot be lost. So log file will be kept multiple copies, so that if there are any failures, if there are any problems associated with log files, we can easily able to observe and take care of the crashes. All right, so logs will be stored in terms of multiples, like 2 to 3 copies in a one file in different locations. At one point of time, one may fail, the other one will be there to have the data. So now every log record is given a unique ID called as LSN. So with this LSN, all the information is fetched using LSN. So disk access will happen with respect to LSNs. Okay, so we can just write down these list of actions. What are the list of actions associated with log record or WAL protocol? See, writing the information in the log is nothing but your WAL protocol only. With the help of WAL protocol only, we write the data into the log file. So these are the list of actions. These are the list of actions associated with log record. I have seen this question multiple times. What are the following actions to record a data into the log file, or what are the actions used for WAL protocol to write the data into the log? So these are the 5 or 6 actions are there. Just have a note: updating a page, commit, abort, end, undoing an update. Okay, these 5 things are to be understood. So after every modifying the page, an update type record is appended in the to the log trial. So at the end of log, some data will be appended, like updating the page. It is like once the data is updated, this a page will add a particular information that data is updated. So the page LSN of the page is then set to LSN to update log record. See, every time data is connected with the in the form of arrows. Arrows are pointers. So one page will be connected to the next. One simple example. Now, when you see your ATM card, in ATM card you have a chip. Earlier we did not have a chip. Nowadays we are all ATMs have a chip. You know what is the use of chip? This chip can read and write the data. If you do not have a chip here, earlier we used to just read the data. We would not write data, we would just read the data. Now what will happen with the other old cards is card is read and transacted, but we would be not sure that what if this card will be tampered by multiple people. Now there are some devices which can create a copy of the card multiple times. So we can create card. Card creators can create card with just quick short of time, maybe in 1 or 2 minutes you can create the copy of the card. So when you copy the card with another card, there will be two copies now. This card will also work, this card will also work. This will be a duplicate card, this will be your original card. Now we were not sure that which card is correct or which card is the genuine card. So to resolve this, our RBI has come with one chip plan or chip attached in the card. Now what this chip do is, it has the facility to write the data and read the data. Both will happen. In the earlier cards, only reading used to be done. Now what happens is, you have one LSN like this. In LSN, you have last sequence number, last transaction ID. Okay, so when you're transacting next time, this transaction ID is returned in your chip. Next time when you want to proceed with the transaction, last transaction ID in the database, last transaction ID will be returned. So that transaction ID will be, imagine this is your last transaction ID. This transaction ID is this transaction ID. Like imagine this is your 1238. Imagine this is your last transaction ID 1238. This 1238 is there in your card as well as in your database. So 1238 is there in your card. Okay, next time imagine this is 1789. Imagine this is the next sequence number which you want to access. So when you're accessing next transaction, this 1238 from the database is checked with the card. So last time this was the transaction made 1238. This transaction both are compared. When they are correct, this number is replaced here. And in the next subsequent databases, this number will go and sit in your for the next transaction. Likewise, 1238 is replaced by 1789, stating that your last transaction was this. So you will be getting the subsequent transaction. Now imagine if you stole this card, in your chip, the last transaction will not be, automatically the last transaction will be changing. Okay, so when last transaction is changing, if we create a copy of that, only once the card will be used, but next time the card may not be used. Okay, so again, there are problems with these things also, but still we can avoid to certain extent. Okay, only reading was earlier there, now chip is introduced so that your problems are resolved. Now all these are happening with respect to your protocol called as write ahead log protocol or WAL protocol. All these are associated with the log file only. Okay, any questions guys? So these are the actions. Updating a page. So whenever I'm updating a page, I will see that all these are pointers only, na? So whatever I'm talking with respect to these things, they are always connected. So this data is connected here, and this is updated here, checked here. This data is updating here and going to the next time. Subsequently, this keeps on repeating with for all the multiple transactions. Okay, same way when you say commit, you even have a commit command here stating that okay, in this particular data, this particular transaction, the data is committed successfully, all that information. If it is in a bot, imagine if at the midst of the transaction, if something goes wrong, automatically a system will execute a bot. See, one particular timestamp is given. At your ATM transaction, the moment you have swipe your card, till the completion of your transaction, anytime you can press cancel button. The moment you press cancel button, your system executes a bot. Or there might be chances that if you do not do anything, you just keep remain silent for more amount of time, automatically a bot will be running by your system. Okay, so the moment it runs a bot, the entry is made into the log file stating that this transaction was aborted. Same way, after the end of the transaction, you will say that this particular transaction has completed its transaction and end. So all these transactions execute in the form of processes, one after the other, one after the other. You see, when you're during the transaction in your ATM, you see there are series of steps. You cannot bypass these steps. All these steps have to be followed one after the other. The moment you swipe your card, what's happening? You will get a pin verification, a pin identification. Once the pin identification is done, you will get series of options. You can go to pin change, or you can go to mini statement, or withdraw, or deposit, or you can even transfer. So the moment you press on a particular withdraw, you are being redirected to some other page to enter the amount. Then you get a confirmation, then the amount will come, then finally you say, you see a message that thank you for doing the transaction. So that is where you have series of steps. After the series of steps only, automatically you are being redirected to terminate. So anytime in the midst, you can even go with the abort statement. So when you are doing commit, it has to follow with respect to the pattern. At the after the completion of transaction only, end will come, then after ending, data will be committed. So undoing an update, there are even chances to talk about two concepts called as checkpointing, checkpoint, and rollback. Two operations. We have two operations. We'll understand them. Checkpointing or checkpoint, normally we say checkpoint name, we call it a checkpoint, and checkpoint name, we have to give a name. We can even create a particular checkpoint. See, um, in your executions, when you are writing the data permanently to a disk, we will try to create certain checkpoints. One simple example I will quote. Now imagine you are writing online exams. You know what is the checkpoint value for those online exams? 5 seconds. 5 seconds time is the given for each checkpoint. Okay. So what happens? 5 seconds is the time given for one particular checkpoint. Now, even if you have lost the data you are losing for last 5 seconds. Okay, can you imagine how the data is made very predominant? So you will lose the data only of last 5 seconds. Before that last 5 seconds, data is saved permanently. That is how the online exams have been carried out. So you might have done just a single tick in one particular answer now. Earlier to that, all the data is permanently saved. For the last 5 seconds only, the data may be lost. Okay, so for every 5 seconds, one checkpoint is created. Suppose if there is any loss of data, suppose if the data is lost on in the midst of the transaction, the data will be lost only of last 5 seconds, maximum of last 5 seconds, not more. Okay, so you understand how the system will work in order to recover the data. There are no chances that you are losing the data. So you might have answered some 100 questions during your last exam, but the data will be lost only of last 5 seconds. And the moment the server is so smart that it will stop your execution and it will be in a waiting mode. The technical guy will look into see will see that your system has stopped, so he will resume from his end so that the exam will continue. Maximum the data is lost of just the last 5 seconds and not more than that. Okay, so that is where we use one concept called as checkpointing and rollback. Now imagine you have written exam for last 2 minutes. Okay, imagine you are writing exam from last 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, you might have done n number of answers, but in the last 5 seconds, imagine you have just answered only one question. Only that question answer is lost, and all other answers are already saved. So, with the help of using checkpointing, we will try to create for every 5 seconds data is keeps on saving automatically. And the last one answer which you have not answered after, I mean, in the last subsequent 5 seconds, we will go back to that state and restart the work from that particular point. Imagine this was the first 5 seconds. This is 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15, and 20 seconds. Now imagine on 22nd second you entered you answered one question. After 20 seconds you answered one question, and imagine at 22nd second there was a pause, or there was the system had some problem, and and your exam will stop. Stop means the timer will not run, the timer runs pause. Okay, the timer runs pause. The technical guy observes, okay, there is a pause, and he will resume your data. Okay, imagine you have just answered one answer at 22nd second after 20 seconds. So till 20 seconds your data is updated. It will resume from this particular point. So it will start from 21 seconds, 22 seconds, and so on. Understanding? So this is how your checkpointing and rollback works. So your data was lost at 22nd second. So once your technical guys runs rollback, it will stop here, and from this position it reruns again. So since the last one question was this which you are seeing, and you have answered this, only this answer would be missing, the rest all would have been already answered. This is how your system will run. Understanding? So with the help of these checkpointing, we will try to see that all the transactions are executing in very fine way without losing a single record. Now one more thing, I don't know how many of you know this. The companies like LIC, IT returns, or they all work in the form of 1,000 records at one instance. Okay, they execute 1,000 records at one shot. Okay, can you imagine this? And all those 1,000 records at one point of time they execute. One fixed time band is given. The job of the all the clients of the LICs, I mean employees, they just send this 1,000 records, or they create this 1,000 records for the execution purpose. So at one point of time in a day, two timestamps are given. Okay, in a day, two timestamps are given. Like imagine one is at 6 p.m. and one is at 8 p.m. Okay, on this particular time band, exactly after 6:05 p.m. they take the feedback of these 1,000 records. So the job of the LIC people is to create these 1,000 records before 6 p.m. Okay, so whatever payments have to happen, they will create in the form of this 1,000 records. 1,000 record file is automatically executed by the server at this particular time, and the feedback is taken at this time. So imagine during this time, if there is any crash, out of these 1,000 records, how many records executed successfully, how many not, they need to trace back. That is how the system will run. Okay, same way with respect to your IT returns also. So they create all the batch files, we say batches. So batch files are created. uh, each one file, each one record will not execute at once. One whole batch executes at one point of time. Now what they do is they initially they send the whole batch, one batch at one timestamp to execute. they will they will look into the failure transactions later. Means once this batch has been sent for execution, all will execute at once. But there are chances that inside those 1,000 records, there might be transactions which are failed. So later on, they will try to check with each of the status, or in those 1,000 records, they will try to identify how many records were failed, how many records have to be rerun. Now imagine some 80 records failed. Out of those 1,000, imagine those 80 records failed. They will filter them with the others. So imagine 920 records successfully executed, some 80 records are failed. So they keep that 80 records separately, and next 1,000 records what they make, in those 1,000 records they push these 80 records so that they become 1,000. If you have 1,000 records here, again they will try to check in the subsequent batches where there are less than 1,000. It cannot be more than 1,000, or the batches should be in form of only thousands. Okay, again the same procedure continues with each of the batch systems. So everywhere, once the execution completes, they trace back each one particular record. So what happened with the status of these records? Okay, this is all happens with respect to one small concept called as checkpointing and rollbacking. Okay, so checkpointing and rollbacking, rollback or checkpoint. Okay, any questions? These rollbacks will help us to go to that particular state and resume the operations. Any questions, guys? Any questions? So, okay, any other questions you have? So checkpointing, recovery from crash. Okay. Any questions? Anybody have any questions? No, yes? Yes? No questions?
No, sir.